Now it must feel like forever for Arsenal fans since they saw their man in their starting lineup.
Saka working it in, left footy shot! It's in off the post!
Saka will be out until February, so you can forget him in the first month of the year.
He's not looking good. He's going to be out for many weeks. It's a huge one. Obviously, it's a big player for us. You just have to see the impact that he's got on the team.
The biggest loss for me with Arsenal is Saka. I think he is the biggest threat that Arsenal have.
It's a Saka goal. It's an Arsenal goal.
Bukayo Saka could be named in the Arsenal squad to face Fulham in the Premier League next week.
Saka, his performance now, the fellow's pure class.
You know about Saka I love is that he's Mr. Consistent, always 9 out of 10.
For me, I always live by the quote, it's not what you see, it's what you believe. I don't think I've lost any belief. I don't think anyone in the change room has either.
Now we need to go to the next stage and win things collectively as well.
So, after nearly 4 months out, Bukayo Saka could make his Arsenal return tonight against Fulham. Mikel Arteta says he's ready to go.
Well, all the careful thing is already done. So now it's about putting him in the grass in the right moments. But he's pushing because he really wants it. We have respect the time frame. We have done everything, and we had to hold him back even. So he's ready to go.
Arsenal fans, let's hear from you. 03717 223344. What are your thoughts on the return of Bukayo Saka with Real Madrid, of course, just around the corner? Let's get the thoughts of former Gunners midfielder and two-time title winner Perry Groves. Morning, Perry.
Morning, Grosey. How are you?
Good morning, boys. Hope you're in fine, Fettel.
Yeah, very good. Very good, Fettel, indeed. We would both be surprised, Perry, to be honest, regardless of what Mikel Arteta says, if Saka starts tonight. Would you be surprised?
Well, boys, coming from someone who's got shorter hamstrings than Jimmy Cranky, and of course, you tell you when you're a sprinter and obviously you're playing in the wide areas, there's more explosive runs that you have to do. So I'll be amazed if he starts. He'll probably be on the bench, and then you ease someone in, maybe 25, 30 minutes, because then you got the game against Everton on Saturday, where maybe playing for an hour, and then obviously you've got the huge game next Tuesday against Real Madrid. So it's all very well. You do all your rehab, you go through all your stretches and your massages, and you do your running in training where you go for a jog into half pace, 3/4 pace. But there's nothing like the actual intensity of a game where you're going to test your hamstring and you have to get your confidence back in your body.
Absolutely. Because where are we at the moment with Arsenal? Listen, we'll get it, and Mikel Arteta will obviously say the right things, still going to chase Liverpool. But you think there's a little bit of an acceptance that the title will be Liverpool's, and they've got to concentrate, obviously, in second place, but probably just as importantly, if not more importantly, in the big Real Madrid game coming up?
Yeah, very much, Coisty. If Liverpool were only 7 or 8 points in front, I think they might have had a major wobble, because obviously going out of the Champions League, losing the final to Newcastle, they've had a bit of a dip, but we're not in a strong enough position to take advantage of it. So all you got to do is keep winning your games, because it's about the momentum for the Real Madrid game next Tuesday. And Arsenal season, I think, hinges on that, because these players, it looks like they're going to come second again. And you'd be absolutely sick to death of keep being Jimmy White and keep coming second and keep coming second. So I'm hoping it's going to drive these players on.
I mean, Perry, we all know how good Saka is, but how much does his presence help Martin Odegaard?
Yeah, very much so, because you had that really good combination, didn't you, down the right-hand side with Saka, with Odegaard. Initially, it was with, obviously, Ben White and Duran Timber. Then comes in and plays really well at right back. And what happens is when Saka's fully fit, he occupies two players. So normally a midfield player goes out and that's a double up, or if they're playing 3 centre halves, the left-sided centre back goes and doubles up, and that gives Odegaard that little bit more space in that inside right position. So, and it's the belief, Coist, you tell you, when you get your best player back, it's the belief that you give to the rest of the team. Because if you're in tight moments, then you'll look around and you think, actually, Bukayo will do something, out of this world to get us out of trouble. And 9 times out of 10, he delivers.
Listen, Perry, never mind the question, how much would Saka help Odegaard? How much would an out-and-out centre-forward help the two of them?
All right, Coisty, I've only been on there for like 2 minutes, and you have to bring the old elephant.
I do.
Straight away. everybody knows that is the missing piece in the jigsaw. Kai Havertz was doing brilliantly, as the false 9 or, like the 10, scored his 15 goals, but only 9 in the Premier League. But that's the missing piece, because if you can go and get a centre forward that's going to guarantee you 25, 30 goals a season, then you go on and you win the Premier League, because sometimes Arsenal overplay a little bit, in and around the 18-yard box looking for the perfect goal, or how many times, McCoist, did you see the ball flashed across the 6-yard box or being cut back, and you're like, if you had a centre forward who's in between the posts, you get yourself probably 9, 10 tap-ins a season. So they've got Andrea Burton out, the new sporting director, so he's come in, so they've got a little bit of experience there.
Grovesy, just a word about Fulham, because obviously it's a big night for them as well. They're just 3 points off 5th place at the moment. I want to ask you about Emile Smith-Rowe, who's a player I like a lot, and he's done okay at Fulham, but did you expect him to make more of an impact than he has?
Yeah, I think he struggled with a couple of injuries early on in the season, so he couldn't get himself into the rhythm. And then when he got himself fit, Fulham were absolutely flying, so it's difficult for him to break in. I expect him to start tonight, because they've got an emotional come down, obviously, from losing that quarter-final against Palace. And what happens is you feel a little bit more tired. Do you know what I mean? You have sort of niggly injuries when you've had that disappointment. So I wouldn't be surprised if Smith-Rowe plays, probably Traore come in, Jimenez will come in, because Fulham are going to need freshen up. They're going to need fresh legs. And he'll get a fantastic reception from the Emirates faithful, because he was one of Arsenal's own, come up through the academy. But it suited all parties that he left, because he wasn't to be first choice. He probably felt he was too good to be on the bench, which I understand. So it was one of those transfers that it suited everybody, the buying club, the selling club, and the player himself. And he's a very, very humble boy off the pitch as well.
Grozy, I'd agree with you, mate. Having been at Fulham on Saturday, I just thought, for all the possession they had, they didn't create an awful lot. I would be really surprised if he doesn't make certainly a couple of those changes that you predicted, mate. Particularly, I thought Smith-Rowe looked good when he came on, looked comfortable, but to be fair, the game was kind of done then. Crystal Palace were excellent, mate.
Yeah, do you know what it was, Coisty? I think they had a couple of decent chances early on, didn't they, when it was 0-0?
Yeah.
Pereira had a good chance, Muniz had a good chance. I think the disappointment from Marco Silva's point of view would be, after going 1-0 down to Eze's brilliant individual goal, there wasn't really that reaction. You expect, a bit more sort of combativeness. You expect him to get himself back into the game. And they didn't defend particularly well, especially for Sarr's goal, when Eze does bring a left-hand side. So they went out with a little bit of a whimper. But as Jeff said there, they've still got so much to play for, and they could have the best season they've had in the Premier League.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.